Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Grayson.
Welcome back to another Casually Hardcore podcast, video impressions and thoughts. Today we're going to be talking about what we're excited about in Battlefront 2. Now, Grayson, what are you the most excited about this from the information that we have available currently to us?
I don't know. I don't really know. Clone Wars.
Clone Wars. And they're finally bringing back Clone Troopers, and not just Phase 1, Phase 2 as well.
Looks like it's only for Camino, though.
For now.
Yeah.
What do you think the maps are going to be right away from the information that's been leaked?
I'm honestly having very little expectations, so honestly I think there might be one more planet aside from the ones that are already revealed, which are Camino, Naboo, and Kashyyyk.
I got you. And those, Camino is the one that's been shown off in concept art currently. Oh, and a little bit of the trailer. Kashyyyk was shown off a little bit in the last trailer. And then obviously Naboo had the big...
Yeah, Naboo's been the big gameplay focus so far.
What maps would you like to see throughout the lifespan of Battlefront 2?
Oh, there's a crap ton. Just from the movies, Utapau, Geonosis, there's more. I'd love to see Coruscant.
Ooh, that'd be cool. So space battle or both? Like a galactic assault space battle and then on the streets?
If I had to choose, definitely the space battle, but it'd be super cool to see like the streets of Coruscant be a battle.
Oh, that'd be really cool.
Mm-hmm. Or like the Jedi Temple or something.
Of the clone troopers shown off, obviously we haven't seen a lot of customization in terms of unique faction or attack battalions and legions. What legions and battalions would you like to see from the Clone Wars TV show? Brand new introduced.
Well, the only ones I know by name are the 501st and the 212th. Mm-hmm. But I'd love to see the green guy, the green one, Wolf's.
Wolf's Battalion.
Yeah, Wolf's Battalion.
Commander Grease Battalion.
Yeah, that's the green one. The Grease group, and then yeah,
and that'd be it. You don't want to see the Coruscant Guard.
What I would prefer to see is basically just kind of like color customization. Because if you are going to include all those different colors of battalions,
right,
might as well just have just overall color customization aside from Wolf's group because there's specific patterns.
Right. No, yeah. I got you. So of all those battalions, which one would you like to see heroes included from? So obviously each battalion has different commanders and all that.
501st Rex, easily.
Rex would be your main guy?
Oh yeah, totally.
I gotcha. For me, it'd be Commander Cody.
Yeah.
I'd really like to see him. And possibly if they did like an Execute Order 66 mode, I could shoot Obi-Wan. Now, speaking of that, in heroes, are you a little excited or disappointed or both from what they've shown off and what's been leaked so far?
What's so far is that I think we're not going to get a lot of heroes on launch, but I like the selection. It's just it definitely could. If the leaked list is what to be believed, and what I honestly think there's going to be less than what's on the leaked list at launch. So if that is the case, I'm a little disappointed. But knowing what's in the future, I can definitely see like Obi-Wan wasn't on the list, but Grievous was. But Grievous didn't have an ability list. So what my theory is that there's going to be a Utapau update where it's like it's Grievous, Utapau, and Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Right.
Which that would be really exciting. So I think near the end of this, it would be near the end of the life cycle of Battlefront 2, there would be a lot more stuff, and I'm definitely a lot more excited for that.
So for our viewers, what heroes so far have been leaked plus shown off for the Clone Wars era?
So far it's just been the two confirmed ones already, which is Yoda and Maul, and then Grievous Scott was in the files, and that was it.
I got you. Now moving on from the Clone Wars, the Galactic Civil War, what are you pumped about so far has been shown off?
It's not that I'm pumped. It's kind of relieving to see that based on what we know, they're really just, for original trilogy era stuff, they're just reusing a lot of the assets they created for Battlefront 1 and all the DLC for new maps. So it's like, good, we're going to have a lot of content on launch with all these assets that already exist. Plus, they don't need to spend a lot of time recreating all this stuff again.
Right.
So when we do get these DLC updates, it's going to be more on sequel and prequel trilogy stuff rather than original trilogy stuff.
Considering the first game was exclusively original trilogy stuff, it's nice to get more of Star Wars into it.
Yeah.
I'm happy that Nib Nub is not on the list for heroes that was shown out. Greedo and Nib Nub are the bane of my existence, and this is the first game.
One thing to be relieved about definitely is that the only hero that people would be a little questionable about that was added was Bosk. But given the fact that they probably want to balance out the amount of heroes and villains for the trilogies, if I did have to choose, I probably would have gone with Bosk simply because of how Boba Fett is associated with the Empire, and then Bosk is in the lore really associated with Boba Fett.
Right.
So it's really the only other bounty hunter that would have the most sense working with the Empire.
Well, a fan theory for me, I'm starting this fan theory, is that what if he's actually used for the Clone Wars, considering Bosk did cameo a ton in the Clone Wars show.
I could definitely see Bosk and Chewbacca being in the Clone Wars era as like villains and heroes for those,
because they're cross era.
Yeah, and Bosk was around for the Clone Wars, so.
So with the list continues. The Rogue One characters were not on that list.
Yeah.
Does that bum you out a little bit at all?
Not really, because you look back at it, you find out that the Rogue One DLC was really a huge promotion for Rogue One. Mm-hmm. So you look at it, it's like you get a lot of characterizations that are off. Like freaking Jyn, one of her like battle things in the original Star Wars was "I'm resisting arrest," which is like, okay, one, that's stupid. Two, that's not what her character was at all. Or it wasn't that what her character, just that there was more to it than "I'm resisting arrest."
Right.
And then Krennic was like his intro information was, "I will be the Emperor's." I forget what it was exactly. But
brand new hand, pretty much.
I'll replace Tarkin, whatever he was to the Emperor.
Don't choke on your ambition.
Which in a way, yes, that was what Krennic wanted to do in Rogue One, but that wasn't it. It wasn't that he wanted to replace Tarkin or something like that. What he wanted to do is he wanted to be acknowledged and respected for his achievements on the Death Star.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But from a gameplay standpoint, I'm glad that the Death Troopers are being specialization.
Oh, yeah. I definitely am glad that the Death Troopers are being put in, like, they aren't exclusively bodyguards to Krennic.
Yeah, I'm glad that I'm actually really glad that kind of mechanics being gone, is getting rid of. It was cool, but the Senate Guard or Imperial Guards and the Death Troopers are too cool of a character to be exclusive to somebody randomly. Hopefully somebody chooses that hero.
I do think the Imperial Guards would make sense as bodyguards because, that's what they are. They're bodyguards, so
right.
They would make sense to be seen only alongside Palpatine.
But in the extended universe, they were used for other missions, though.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's where you have the Shadow Guard, which is the black and red. Then you have the Force Guard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's an extended universe. Obviously, it's not part of canon now, but in that time period, it was.
Yeah.
So of the specialization characters, because that's a new mechanic they've introduced, what do you want to kind of come up? Like, what would be your dream specialization for Clone Wars, Galactic Civil War, and then obviously with the limited information you have with the extended trilogy or the sequel trilogy?
Okay, I've got two easy picks for prequel and sequel trilogy. So prequel trilogy is obviously I want to see commandos. So I want to see a commando specialization for both the droids and the clones. So clone commandos and then commando droids.
Right.
That would be super awesome. And then for sequel trilogy, the flame troopers for the First Order. That would be super cool.
That'd be really cool.
And then I don't really know what to hope for with the Resistance because they're just basically the Rebellion 2.0. So there's not anything I specifically hope for. I just hope for what they do have. They differentiate. Yeah, differentiate themselves enough from the Rebels, so they're not unit-wise. They're not Rebels 2.0.
I gotcha. So obviously, for me, it would be we have the Super Battle Droid and the Jump Trooper. I would love for the Commando. That game was my favorite game. I played it a crap ton. I even got glitches out of that game. I played it so much.
Yeah.
I've actually thinking about doing a video for that. Kind of spoiler here for that, just because of the game. I loved it so much.
There's so many freaking glitches you found for that game.
I played that game a shit ton.
I don't even know do you even remember how to do the glitch where you would...
Oh, I do. It's embedded in my head, man. I can go and do it right. There's two ways that I figured out how to do it.
Yeah.
I found a second way how to do it, but...
I'm talking about that glitch where it's like you stunned all the enemies so they wouldn't shoot each other.
Yeah, I saved every enemy. Yeah, and
the only ones you couldn't save, and I remember you trying so hard, was there was that one scene where it's like you're crouched down in some sort of little thing in the ship, and no matter what you do, there's this clone that gets executed by Gamorrean, and there's nothing you can do. I think.
The shotgun.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's scripted.
It's super scripted.
Yeah,
which is interesting because some of the clones that are scripted to die, if you save them, they have animations and scripts to do stuff after you save them. So I'm wondering if they were actually thinking about people saving them.
I think it's just like AI clones. That's what they're supposed to do. It's just like since they have nothing else to do.
But they run back to the same position every time. So we'll talk about that later. Obviously, Battlefront side chat. But I'd love to see Republic Commandos back in their glory. Obviously, in the Clone Wars TV show, we got Gregor, and you had the small cameo of Delta Squad.
Yeah.
From the Battle Droids perspective, there's a ton of specialization I'd like to see. Droidicas for sure. Magna Guard with their Magna Staff would be awesome. Or obviously what Grayson said earlier, the Commandos. But for a throwback would be cool to see if they did like a Magna Guard from the original Battlefront that had the grenade launcher and the pistol that shot out missiles. That'd be that'd
be a cool way to balance. I don't know if it would be balancing, but like to give the guards more than just a melee. Because like the thing is like with to go back the Imperial Guards, they didn't have their staves. They just had the heavy. It was the T-21, right?
Yep.
They had the T-21, and then they had
the rocket launcher.
The rocket launchers. They didn't have those spears that you always see them with.
Right, which is kind of disappointing now we think about it.
Yeah, but like it could be balancing things. Like, yeah, the Magna Guards, they do have their electric staves, but they also have those things so that way they're not exclusively melee ranged characters.
And I agree. And it would also be kind of cool too because we found out that certain characters or specializations are exclusive to their maps. Like Wookiee warriors are exclusive to Kashyyyk. If they introduce a Utapau level with Grievous and Obi-Wan, like people are speculating, Magna Guards could be on Utapau.
Oh, if Grievous is in, Magna Guards have to be in there too.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And so, Rebel standpoint, you got Death Troopers. I would love to see Nova Troopers or the Dark Troopers from the original Battlefront game.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool because they do have jetpacks too.
I could see them being the Jump Trooper equivalents.
Yeah, and that'd be a cool throwback to the original because Dark Troopers were introduced in the original Battlefront.
Yeah. Imagine if they went further and gave them like those little shock rifles they had.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
For the Rebel side, I would like to see the Rebel Special Forces. They have this black and red armor. It's really, really cool. Mm-hmm. Obviously, in the leak files, everybody has a effing Jump Trooper jetpack, so you're going to have a Jump Trooper in that. So those would be really cool, too. Obviously, Wookiee Warrior, I think, is going to be confirmed to be transferred across as well.
It'd be kind of weird seeing the Wookiees on, like, in the Clone Wars era, just like on Naboo. That'd be kind of weird.
I'm talking about just Rebels.
Rebels, it would be a lot better, yeah.
Or maybe a Bothan spy. Many Bothan spies died to bring us to specialization.
That's a mode, Bothan spies died mode, where it's just they're spying for something, and it's like you play like Darth Vader, and it's just you versus a bunch of Bothans.
Right. Well, I mean, in the original Battlefront 2, you had hunt mode, so you have hunt Bothan spies. But no, I think from the sequel trilogy, I don't think there's much to go off of currently. You have the Flame Trooper, but you also have again. The Resistance has a Jump Trooper that was leaked in the files. Yeah. So obviously that's gonna be one of them, but there's not much that we've seen. Yeah. To kind of make it would have to be they would have to be creative with this one.
Well, I think the reason is that we've seen, if anyone, like, they leaked a ton of stuff from The Last Jedi in terms of vehicles because Lego, I don't know how it happened, but someone at Lego messed up and leaked a bunch of Lego sets. So they released like what their walker's gonna be, what their ships are gonna be, and since we already know that the First Order ship that they've been not obviously quite about is most definitely going to be Kylo Ren's ship. They're clearly incorporating things from The Last Jedi.
Right.
So I imagine most of the First Order stuff we're going to see is going to come from The Last Jedi. Actually, even further to say that, people analyze things. The First Order troopers look more like the slight redesign of them you see in The Last Jedi.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. And another thing, too, is we'll hop into vehicles as our next topic. There has been leaks of Imperial Guards for the First Order.
Yeah,
the redesigns. Yeah. They look interesting.
They you know the samurai concepts you saw, like people like those super cool samurai things you see for like stormtroopers and Darth Vader. It's like take that mentality, apply it to an Imperial Guard, and that's what you have.
So we'll see how it works in practice. But vehicles, obviously the first game there wasn't any. You had the Walker. You had a couple ships, and you had the remote-controlled AT-AT. If you've ever seen any of the memes, the AT-AT on rails, it's like a little choo-choo train. Obviously, it worked out really well in the end game for us, but for vehicles now, what do you want to see that hasn't been shown off yet?
I want to see a Walker sold with the AT-TE, and I don't know how they could, but I'd love to see the turbo tank incorporated in some sort of mode.
Okay, so from the Clone Wars perspective, I'd love to see the AT-TE.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's going to be it has to be a staple. It's a walker. It's one of the original walkers for any of the equipment. I'd like to see the AT-XT. I know it's never going to happen. There's probably a 0.0001% chance this ever happens.
No, it's in the movies. You see very clearly in Episode 3 on Kashyyyk.
That's AT-APs.
Oh.
It's an all-terrain attack platform.
What's the XTs?
That's the game from the Star Wars The Clone Wars video game. It's all-terrain experimental transport. It looks like an AT-ST. I'll show you after this video.
Okay.
So if you guys ever looked it up, it's actually a really cool walker. If anything, I've requested that be put into mods in Battlefront 2 when I was kind of active in that scene.
Yeah.
However, though, I'd like to see the TX-130, which actually was leaked.
Yeah. It was in the files. It was mentioned in text, and
So that would be great. From the Rebel standpoint, I'd like to see some of the original Battlefront games concepts for tanks, like the dual-headed rocket tank.
Yeah.
And then the one from the PSP game was really cool too. So that'd be cool to introduce some nostalgia in there, and obviously kind of be safe with designs that people are already fans of. Mm-hmm. And then maybe go from there and introduce some new tanks. But the Rebels need a tank to counter the Walker.
Yeah. It can't just be ships. Because the thing is, it's like, they said the counter was, like, in the original EA Battlefront was like, oh, the counter for walkers are ships. Well, no one can shoot at the ground for a damn when it comes to the ships, and
nobody cares.
Yeah, nobody cares. And the few times a rebel ship notices a walker on the ground, they don't shoot at it. They just try to crash into it.
And half the time it's 50-50 if it works or not. Yeah, I know. So they'll just walk into it and just walk away. But another thing too is it's just even in the first game, the Imperials had an anti-vehicle turret, and the Rebels have no anti-vehicles. So it's just either way, the Rebels need to have vehicles. For the First Order Resistance era, I don't know what vehicles they could add. There's not really much been shown off besides
it's going to be the Lego sets.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see as the game gets closer to launch. We'll definitely see more. I'm sure we will. I'm sure they're going to incorporate, or maybe in their first expansion with the Last Jedi stuff will be in there too. But from vehicles, obviously talked about plants earlier. The last thing, what do you want to see the most that has not been shown off across any era, across anything? What's your number one request?
I want to see Ahsoka added as a hero.
Ahsoka? Yeah. Why Ahsoka of all the heroes, Dad?
Because she's basically the face of the Clone Wars series, and I'd love to see an animated character get kind of put on that same pedestal as all the other film characters in a game like this, where it's so, like, detail accurate to the movies in terms of graphics and whatnot. So it'd be really awesome to see the animated series finally come to that same light as the films.
No, I totally agree. And my same boat would be a Clone Wars era thing. I would love to see Republic Commandos. Yeah. That would be the highlight for me. I'd buy all the DLC. If they did microtransactions for specialization, customization, you would count me in for every DLC package ever released, ever. But I think that kind of wraps up our thoughts and impressions for right now for what we want for Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're going to keep showing off more and more. And the beta comes out in September, October?
I think it's October.
Okay, so we'll definitely have beta reviews for it. Grayson will be doing stuff for his. He's got it pre-ordered. I will have mine as well. We'll definitely be doing separate videos, I think, for that. Maybe a collaboration. Who knows?
Yeah.
But this will be kind of our first video in the series of many speculation for Battlefront reviews. We're huge Battlefront fans, huge Star Wars nerds. This is a really passionate topic for us, for a franchise that's been dormant that's finally coming back. So thanks again for joining us. I'm Nick.
I'm Grayson.
Have a great day.
17 minutes.